What is love for you? How would you define love? Give it a second. Love is, and I want to share with you today my thoughts on love is freedom. I want to tell you why not only love is freedom, but why you should keep coming out again and again with your truth in your relationships. Hi, my name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this is The Potential State, and today we're in Ownership 33. Love is positive freedom. So keep coming out. So I'm in Montreal doing this talk, and then somebody's asked me, what is love? And I suddenly realized that no, I never talk about love in the clinic. I talk about communication and sex and affairs and trauma and anger and aggression, but I never talk about love. And then intuitively this answer came up for me. It was freedom. Freedom to be myself. Freedom to bring different self states, different parts of myself. And I was thinking about that more and more. And then I remembered Isaiah Berlin's conceptualization of liberty, of the two types of liberty, or two types of freedom. The first is the negative liberty. Negative liberty is the absence of constraints. I'm free to do whatever I want. And positive liberty is living according to my own values, to restraints that I put upon myself to be closer to my truth. We spoke about that in Block Your Exits episode. Check that out. So love is a positive liberty. I'm entering a committed long-term relationship. I'm taking upon myself the constraints and the limitations of being in a relationships, but I want to aim to be free. I want to aim to be myself, to live according to my values. So therefore, love becomes a positive freedom to bring different self states, different parts of myself within the creative limitations of a committed intimate relationship. And the law of creative limitations comes from Robert McGee, and he talks about we are more creative when we have limits on it. The more we're limited, the more creative we can be in a certain area or sphere. So the creative limitations of a relationship actually helps me be even more creative, even more open, because it requires me to be more and more precise, more and more leaping to freedom, coming out again and again with my truth, even if it's not nice, even if I'm embarrassed of it, even if I'm ashamed of it. Like Brené Brown says, right? The antidote for shame is saying it out loud, is contextualizing, demystifying, sharing, opening it up. Having communication about that. And if you can build a relationship where you are coming out with your truth and your partner stays there with you in the heat, it's almost like in Mario Brothers where you kind of, you bing, 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 and then you open up to a new level. That is the next level of your relationship. The next level of relationship where you are actually excited to share new things you're discovering about yourself or new truths about your relationship, even if they're not nice. And I want to give a few examples. I was working with a couple a while back, and he became self-employed. He was a tough man. And then he allowed himself finally to say, it took a few months, I'm scared, I'm becoming self-employed, and I don't feel so confident, and I'm losing, and I need you more. And he dared say that, and then she was taking it, and then it felt like she had this huge secret. And she was holding her mouth, and I finally said, just say, and then she says, I'm afraid of a weak man. And she said it as if she confessed a crime or a murder. And there was a moment of silence in the room, and he smiled, and I got very emotional, and we realized that she's coming out with a big truth, that she's been holding on, this secret, and he smiled, and he knew that. And he said to her, I know this. He didn't run away, he wasn't insulted. And there was a moment there where she felt the freedom. It's like she opened up another dimension in Mario Brothers, and in this new world, she can say that. And there was a sense of openness, though. Obviously there was shame there, but there was also openness and the possibility. Suddenly like, whoa, I can say that out loud. I can come out in my relationship and say to my partner, I'm afraid that you're going to be a weak man. And from there we can start working. I was once working with a pregnant woman who was doing a one-on-one session, and then she said something like, I'm not sure I want to have this baby. She just wanted, and she couldn't verbalize it anywhere else. She was ashamed of that. But the second she said it, something opened up between us. There was an opening and a deep validation. I didn't even have to say anything. And I see this all the time, right? In my own marriage with Khalid, like we feel more and more comfortable to share things, like you have bad breath, like I don't like this dish that you're cooking, like it pisses me off that you always, you always wash your face and there's tons of water all over like the second you can say that in a way, not as a jab, not with anger, but actually say these things. And the second we can say it in a sense that's not accusing, it's just I just want to share these with you. I just want to open this up. I want to feel a sense of freedom, because too many of us are living with a facade that even in our own marriage, even in our own house, I have to walk on eggshells. I cannot be myself. And that creates tension, and you just get frustrated and bitter, and you become cynical because you're always smiling, you're always holding back things. But actually your partner feels them, so you might as well say them. So a few tips how to do this. First of all, share this episode with your partner. Then create a culture where you can playfully express different parts of yourself. Play is a lube of life. Refer to that episode. So how can I bring these little truths or these little things that I'm feeling in a playful way? The way I can do that is to own my shit, not say it as a jab and say, I want to share with you some stuff, some things that are coming up for me. Prepare your partner not to react. They don't have to do anything without it. It's not their fault. It's not their responsibility. Okay, refer back to the episode, you're not responsible for your partner's feelings. And then dare to share. Dare to share. Start with small little things. Things you've been holding back. Maybe they're little small things, but just open that up. And right after you share, you'll find there's two things we're going to rush in, like this sense of a little bit of shame and embarrassment, but also this openness and relief. And then you keep coming out again and again and again and again. You create a culture where both of you can celebrate when one of you is sharing something that's about themselves or about the relationship that they've never shared before, whether it's good or bad. Because if I'm free to say negative things about the relationship, things I don't like, and I'm reminding you 70% of your problems are insolvable, I'll be more open to share positive things about the relationship. And that's going to keep you guys curious about each other, because too many couples are not curious about each other anymore. They think they know everything about their partner. But they don't know because they don't ask, and the partner doesn't feel comfortable sharing because they're sure that if they share that they don't like the other partner's cooking that specific dish, they'll be insulted. But no, let's talk about that so we can laugh about that, so we can move on, so we can have more and more freedom. So our house becomes a place of freedom, a playground, instead of a place where I need to still be dressed up like my work suit. And that increases your level of differentiation, which is being more yourself and more in a relationship. So come out to your partner and remember that love is the positive liberty of bringing your different self states within the creative limitations of a committed, long-term, intimate relationship. My name is Dr. Assael Romanelli, and this was The Potential State. I'll see you next time.